The Maryland Heritage Series is one of the most sought after releases of 2022 so far. We've got all three. Two of them haven't even come out yet, but we're going to tell you why they are so sought after next. All right, everybody, welcome back to 1090. I am Andy. This is Todd coming at you with another fantastic whiskey review tonight, and we are excited because hometown boys do well. Because I got to tell you, we love everything about this Maryland Heritage Series, and for good reason. This is one of the most sought after releases of 2022 so far. It is blowing up. People are having a hard time getting a hold of it.
There's not a lot of it,
and it's not just hype. The juice behind the bottles backs this up. What am I talking about? Todd, tell us about the Maryland Heritage Series.
So when you think of MGP, 14-year MGP rye, you don't see that very often. And that's what this series is. We have two wonderful establishments here in Maryland, Drug City and Allview Liquors. Justin and George have, for years now, combined to make amazing picks for their customers. And they sort of, and you can tell the story as well, Andy, because you've talked to Justin at length about this, but they sort of fell into about 30 barrels of MGP juice, 14-year rye juice that had been sitting in a Maryland warehouse that they got their hands on.
Yeah, and the thing is, when Justin and George said they were putting this out, there was no doubt in their mind that this was going to be fantastic because they have just cornered the market, at least mid-Atlantic wise. People travel from all over the Mid-Atlantic to come to Allview or Drug City or some of their syndicate places because they have just a knack for picking beautiful barrels. And so many of their releases have done well. So when they got their hands on these barrels, well, we could not wait to try them. So
no doubt about
now the Mount Vernon has already been released.
Yes.
Okay, and then in sequential order, we're going to go here to the Sherbrook and then the Sherwood,
which have yet to be released.
Have yet to be released. If you are looking for a traditional Maryland rye, this is not exactly it. It's the 95.5 match bill, but what they're doing is they're paying homage to when Maryland was kind of the kings of whiskey, along with
rye
Pennsylvania,
whiskey.
Prohibition, when everything kind of shifted to Kentucky and distilleries just kind of fell out of favor and went down here. So people are starting to pick it back up. They want to rebuild that brand, that name, and this has been a beautiful way to pay homage to what was in our backyard, as so many are starting to do now. We've had all three. This has been released and sold out quickly. The next two are on the way. But let's start with what was released.
Another thing with that, though, Andy, if you're not in the Maryland area and can't get to Allview or Drug City, Sealbacks did have a limited number of the first offering. I assume they will the second and third.
Yep.
So you do have a chance if you get distributed.
And we'll get this out of the way. It's not cheap.
No.
And there's very few times where we always do a past purchase report. We're like, look, try it first, pour first. In the rare instance, if you have the means, these are worth it.
All three.
And I can say right now, worth it, but different ones will appeal to different drinkers. So that's what we're going to tell you about tonight. So let's start off with the Mount Vernon. This is 108 proof.
Yes.
Todd, let's talk
here's the great thing
about
this. So they had 30 barrels, and George and Justin from Allview and Drug City went in there and basically were mad scientists, right? They became blenders. They took those 30 barrels and made these three different whiskeys, and that I think is really impressive, right?
It's impressive, and right down to everything was so perfectly calculated. And they came up with three very distinct, unique whiskeys out of these barrels that were blended together. They each had their own backbone that kind of represents something different, and I'm madly impressed.
Super sweet on nose for the Mount Vernon. You know, it's hard even to pick up a little bit of that rye spice in the back end of it. The nose is super syrupy sweet.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Caramel, I get maple syrup big time, even some oh gosh, just residual sweetness. Cheers.
Sip on this puppy.
It's opening up even better, right? I think all three of these, as they open up, they're 14-year-old MGP ryes, right? They're going to give you better. I get caramel, sort of apple cake, if that's such a thing, drizzled with maple syrup. That's what I get.
The burnt sugar comes through here
burnt
a
sugar,
lot.
Yep.
There is a little bit of that rye spice that really kicks and carries on the back of that palate and really kind of
this one.
This is this lowest proof. They go up from 108 to 109 to 110.
Yep.
This drink's really, really nice. It's approachable,
super
but it has still a really nice kind of like the good burn in the way that kind of I love.
So I absolutely love this bottle. Maybe it's going to be hard to see what our favorite is, but this is a hitter. Yep. Absolutely great.
Fantastic. Let's move on to number 2.
All right, up number 2 on our Maryland Heritage Review Series. And, super impressed with Mount Vernon. Tell us a little bit about the Sherbrook.
Okay, same concept, but we're going for a little bit of a different approach in what we're looking for in the final product.
Okay.
And you're going to see how this all kind of blends together and how this works out in the end. So let's just get a nose on this, and we'll talk about this in the finale.
It's a different nose, and that's the crazy thing. This is the same barrels; they just blended them differently. And that's
very intentional, not just in the way they blended, but in the release as well.
I don't want to make there's great blenders out there. I think of Mark and Sherry Carter, right?
Yep.
48. So it's a.
So are we going to see Justin and George on there one day? Look,
it's not easy to do.
It's not, and I can tell you,
oh my
you
God,
can get into
on this.
Very in-depth conversation with both of them on how they came about with these 3 unique blends.
They'll be on our show
they
soon.
have an eye and a nose for this. It's amazing. And again, very intentional.
July 12th, they'll be on our show, and they can tell you that story. But anyway, on the nose for the Sherbrook, I'm getting...
You get some chocolate.
It's chocolate, sweet chocolate, sweet milk chocolate.
Get a little bit of spice on there.
A little bit. Maybe even some fruit notes.
I love that.
Oh man, chocolate comes to me.
There's a touch of the floral note there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's
beautiful
take a sip on this.
Cheers.
I'm pulling a note out of your book. How good is that?
I don't know what I like better.
How good is that? That is phenomenal.
You know what? So chocolate on the palate as well. That's sort of that sweet chocolate. I get like an orange flavor too. It's just like a chocolate orange. There's the baking spice that comes through with the cinnamon there. A tad, even this time getting a little bit of mint on the back end. That rye spice coming through.
There you go. The mint.
Yep.
Sliced bit of dill starts to kind of come through and peek through here with this. Much sweeter. This you're starting to feel it's a little bit more rye forward.
Ooh.
But balanced very well.
Let that finish go on this one.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Wow. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Look, if you're like, what, really guys, are they both that good? we try a lot of whiskey.
Too much.
They're both that good. So
damn.
Let's see if number 3 matches.
I don't know how it can.
All right, the third and last of the Heritage releases. I'm excited for you to try this because, first of all, I love the bottle. It's just really, really cool.
I mean, look at this.
A little bomber right there. But the progression is really gonna make sense now.
Okay.
So
all right. So tell me about that.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's very intentional in design. Get a nose of that.
Okay, so this is the one that smells most like a rye to me. So that's coming out big time.
Yep.
I'm even getting on the nose a little bit of mint. Baking spices all over there, right
a
there.
Little dill right there. This is very traditional rye.
Yeah, you know it's a rye right away. Whereas these first two, I mean, you could...
Especially with the Mount Vernon, you could be thrown off a little bit like...
If you did a blind, I'm not sure you would pull out it was a rye. It was in the background here with the Sherwood. This is a rye.
This is jumping at you.
Jumping out. And that's the amazing thing here. They blended these in that way, I assume, right? And that is talent.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine how easy that was. It's not easy to do.
Well, let's sip this puppy.
Fat Tony. You know I like a good rye. You know I like a good rye. And so I'm confused now. Because what do I like best? Okay, so this comes out like a rye. There's the mint in there. You're getting those baking spices, that cinnamon's there. It tastes like a very viscous and big, bold rye.
Yeah, they're all around the same proof, 108, 109, 110.
There's still a sweetness
they
there,
all
too.
Drink there definitely is, but you get the most herbaceous kind of like minty dill nose come through on this. Ooh. None of it overpowering. You still get the baking spice notes, just are nice. Now, I'm not even going to say which one is our favorite, at least for me, because I think what I would say is this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a rye.
Yeah. One, it's worth the price. If you have the means, it's worth the price for multiple reasons. One, you'll never see anything like this again.
It's so amazing.
I mean, this is really, really cool. We're biased because it's in our backyard, but Justin and George know what they're doing. Yeah. And these are they have not put out anything so far that I've been like, stay away from. And these 3 are winners.
Yes.
But the intentionality behind it was what impressed me the most. The Mount Vernon was released first because this is for you bourbon drinkers out there who want to dip your toes into rye whiskey. This is the way to go.
Yep.
It's going to have more of that feel of that bourbon with almost like it's maybe got more corn in the mash bill, even though it does not. But you're gonna, that cinnamon, the burnt sugar, all that stuff is kind of shining on this.
Maple syrup.
Absolutely. If you want to go more, if you're a rye lover, like I just gotta love rye, this is your pick.
That's the Sherwood.
Because this feels very much just like a traditional big rye, but on steroids, because it's absolutely gorgeous. You will love every bit of this. If you're looking for the best of both worlds, this is where you go.
There you go.
The Sherbrook, because this is the one that's the winner. So it is hard for me to pick a winner because all three of them are absolutely dynamite.
Quite different too. That's the great thing about this. You pick these up in sequence. Again, they'll be coming out very soon. I assume over the summer, right? When you get them, if you get them, please come back. Let us know what you think of each. What are you getting the same flavor notes that we are? I think we're on with this sort of right notes here, but everyone's different, and you're right. And if I had, although I'm going to pick one, I'm actually going to pick one that I like the best. It's right in the middle.
Well, and that's the perfect.
I love this bottle.
That is almost, again, it's the perfect marriage between the two.
I love the chocolate, orange, baking spice. It was beautifully blended. Not that these weren't great. I love it. They're different, though. They're different bottles, so that's my
bourbon lovers, you're going to love this. Rye lovers, you're going to love this. Everyone's going to love
maybe
this.
That's what it is.
Maybe that's the point. But either way, I mean, I think they did justice to paying homage to the tradition of Maryland whiskey. I think that they hit a home run with all three of these. It showed not just... You know how you always talk about young distilleries, like the talent that's on its way? Watch these guys from Allview and Drug City, Justin and George.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do next, because honestly, if this is a sign of things to come,
we will link you with all of their social media.
We'll put it all
and
below.
just be on the lookout. If you're not in the Maryland area, look at Steelbox. They will hopefully have this up when they go.
And we'll have Blake on soon too. He's going to talk to us about that too. So. We'll actually have both of them on. We'll have Justin and George on. We'll have Blake on from Sealbox to talk about some of these things. But look, in the meantime, if you can find them, it's worth it. There are some places throughout Maryland too that actually still have samples of these Allview pours. And they can tell you all about that at either of the two stores. But
all right, Eddie,
you liking it? I love it. It's great. So if you like what you see from 21090, please hit that subscribe button, click that little bell in the corner. It's going to let you know every time we have a new video coming out. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Untapped. And we go live every Tuesday night with Glam and Drams. We have on distilleries, breweries, rock artists, all kinds of fun things. We talk beer, bourbon, and rock and roll. And of course, we want to thank all of our YouTube, especially our Patreon members, for all your continued support. We appreciate you and couldn't do it without you. But in the words of the famous frontman Joe Elliott, until next time.
And there will be a next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, you still have a lot left there. I'm done.